as well. Hold on. I always have problems with. Hey everyone. Okay, we are live for 7 seconds. Hi everyone. Daniel here, from doing live with Robyn Charlton from Auckland. A Meaningful Midlife, episode 2. Give me a second while I go live on Instagram. Hold on, yeah. Hard pressed. Oh no. I always have problems with Instagram. Every week I say that, and every week. Robyn, do you have problems with Instagram as well?
I do have problems with Instagram, yes. But it's just like pushing it down, I think.
Yeah, I have to. I'm like hard pressing it. In the meantime, everyone, tell us how you feel in the comments. Tell us the best word for how you're feeling today. In Malaysia, we are having a public holiday, and I am still trying to get on Instagram live. Oh dear, Instagram. Yeah, so if there's anyone joining us now, just say hello in the comments, introduce yourself, and give us the best word that describes how you feel this evening. Robyn is in Auckland, so she's close past 9 already.
Yeah, nearly my bedtime.
Yes, I know, and I'm still struggling here.
What's your national holiday?
It's Malaysia Day. It's not our independence as such. It is our. It is basically when East Malaysia joined West Malaysia, Peninsula Malaysia, and we became one nation in 1963. This was, and Singapore as well. So Singapore was part of Malaysia for 2 years.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yes. Singapore has technically has always been Instagram dude. Yes. So anyway, let's. Yes. So Robyn, tell us a little bit about Auckland. How is Auckland? I've been to Auckland when I was a little boy, and I remember all the dairy and all the
dairies at the corner.
But Auckland is when I was there, it was really pretty. I'm sure it still is. So
yeah, it's a city that's built between two harbours and in the middle, but it's not that very much. So we're surrounded by water. I live just north of Auckland, so I also live really near the water. Currently, we're in lockdown, New Zealand level 4, which is quite a strict. I think it's one of the strictest lockdowns in the world because of Delta. But I feel really grateful because we're able to look at the water every day and go and look at the beach, and so yeah, hopefully our government is trying to extinguish COVID. We actually were really lucky. We had about 18 months free of COVID in New Zealand, and I think Daniel was always messaging me because we were on ski fields, and then kind of, relative freedom in New Zealand on beaches, and yeah, it was like it's just a different reality sometimes from one part of the world to the next, isn't it?
Yes, and the beaches in Auckland are amazing, right? You have like massive things on the west side of and then you have really pretty small little townships on the both west and east side, right?
Yeah, the east side is more calm and the west side's more bigger surf. So we live on the east side. We have access to a boat and we go sailing in lots of little islands. And I've been to Malaysia once 20 years ago. You guys have got very pretty beaches as well.
Yes, we do on the East Coast as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm live on Instagram as well, A Meaningful Midlife, episode 2. And we are with Robyn Charlton, who'll be joining us shortly.
Oh, I don't know. How does
Okay.
that work? Oh,
In the meantime, just give us the best word that you can describing how you're feeling.
I. This is me being.
Yes,
I've
we
never
are both.
I've never joined anyone on Instagram yet either, so I'm trying to find where the.
I've invited you. I've invited you. Don't worry. Okay, so everyone is witnessing Daniel and Robyn struggling with technology while we try to bring you tips on self-care. So I've invited you, Robyn, on Instagram. Meantime, on Facebook, if you're joining us, tell us the best word that describes how you're feeling today. Whether you're in Malaysia, whether in New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, wherever you are, tell us how you're feeling. The best
Can
word.
you invite me again, Dan? Because I did press it, but it didn't seem to come through.
Okay, let's see. I'm not sure if I can. Okay, invite. Okay, there you go.
I saw it.
Yeah. So it's Malaysia Day here in Malaysia, and we are slowly relaxing restrictions. Robyn was telling us about how she is in lockdown in Auckland, and us in Malaysia, we kind of know how that has been since May.
Yeah,
And
I know.
to hold on to him because he's a little bit messing with the wires. So there's a lot of self-care for Robyn and I to do now because we have to remain calm with the mischievous cat and the technology.
I can see you. I can see you live, but I can't
Okay, so you
get the info. Yeah, request to. I'll request to join.
Okay.
I'll request to join.
Yeah. Okay.
I've just requested to join.
All right. Cool. And go live with MindFitness Doctor.
There we go.
Right. Okay. So here we are. Finally, Daniel and Robyn overcomes technology. Right.
It's a bit echoey though, eh?
Hi everyone. Welcome to the Meaningful Midlife episode 2 with Helios here in Kuala Lumpur, Robyn and Auckland, and of course me. Hold on a second. Robyn, could you help introduce yourself while I put this board away? Okay. And in the meantime, I'll be back, guys, everyone.
Hi everybody, I'm Robyn Charlton. I'm a doctor. I'm a psychiatrist, which means I'm a doctor of mental health. And I also am a yin yoga teacher and a mindful self-compassion meditation teacher.
That's excellent.
I'm just putting the volume down here. So I am really passionate about who cares for the carers and self-care. So the reason that I'm passionate about that is because when I was at medical school, I lost a boyfriend, and I realized that caring for myself first in my grief was the only way that I was going to get through the grief and finish my medical studies. And then as a doctor, I got quite a lot of caregiver fatigue and burnout myself. And so I realized the importance of self-care and caring for yourself first so that you can care for others. I currently have 3 children, and in my lockdown bubble, I've got 2 elderly in-laws that are requiring quite a lot of care. So a lot of stuff to do to prevent caregiver fatigue and burnout. Yeah.
I think if you're in your 40s as well, you most likely would have aging parents to look after. So you would be a caregiver. Usually, if you're in your 30s, 40s, your parents would be aging, and then hopefully nothing bad, but I mean, it's inevitable.
They call it the sandwich generation.
Yeah.
So we're looking after elderlies and we're looking after children, and we're in the middle.
Yes, exactly. So you have this thing where you have to look up, and it's kind of hard because the skills you use for the upper generation is different from the skills you use from the generation under you, and you have to constantly have to use your brain to switch to manage people.
Yep.
And then you're managing all the people around you, your peers at work, or maybe your clients.
Yeah.
So and then sometimes it can seem quite overwhelming. I have been, and I am sort of still in that position, but I don't live with my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what it's like. Yeah.
I know how it is, and it is not an enviable position to be in, and we need to be kind of aware of looking after ourselves as well at the same time, because if we don't do that, we ourselves will break. then who's going to look after us, right?
We've got to fill our, like I talk about a battery. Checking in with how full our batteries are, and so we have to recharge that battery so we're able to give out again. Yeah, and we'll talk about the neuroscience behind that in a little bit too. There's neuroscience behind it as well. It's really fascinating.
Yes. So before we go into that, for those who don't know me, let me introduce myself before I put my cat away. I'm Daniel. I'm a yoga teacher and a personal trainer. And I have a passion to bring tools for calm, clarity, and confidence to midlifers, people like me. I'm in my midlife, see? And and Robyn is also in a similar position, but she's slightly more, has a slightly different expertise because she has the medical background. So she can talk to us, as she mentioned, about the neuroscience behind it, which I also would like to get clarification. But one question I wanted to ask you, Robyn, is that you're a medical doctor, you're a psychiatrist, am I right?
Yeah.
Which means you can actually prescribe pharmaceuticals to oh dear. And okay, so what is do you usually do that? Do you try to do you avoid it, or like is it your first thing that you do, suggesting chemicals? No, it's not.
There is definitely a role for medication, antidepressants, antipsychotics, mood stabilizers, and people that have got kind of severe mental illness, because you need that help with that medication to get to that area where you can start doing these self-care and therapeutic strategies. But there is a big part of people that we know that have mild to moderate illness, mainly depression and anxiety, where these self-care strategies and kind of mindfulness-based micro self-care practices, these evidence-based, that they're just as effective. The problem is that there isn't normally they've been given by psychologists. So there isn't that kind of thinking out there and that's what I am wanting to do, to be able to that everybody can practice their mind fitness like they practice their physical fitness. So it's just as important. So before you get to that area of so that's why self-care is so important. Before you get to that point where your mood is really dropping or your anxiety is getting really bad, you practice it to prevent it. And that kind of health promotion needs to be more out there, and that's where yoga teachers and all of us are such an important part of that health promotion and prevention of mental health. Yeah.
Okay. So when you say that, shall we do the neuroscience first so that we understand what we're talking about? If you'd like to explain the neuroscience behind what we're doing for us.
So just in the last decade, or even in the last 5 years, they found these brain cells in our brains called mirror neurons. So we have these things where we read other people's emotions. So, for example, Daniel, if you're feeling a little bit stressed, then my mirror neurons pick up on that, and I feel a little bit stressed, and if I'm really stressed, that adds to my stress. And then then your mirror neurons read that back. And we've all been in that situation where people are being stressed and things just spiral out of control, and there's that reactivity that goes on. It's the same if someone's calm. If I'm really calm, then your mirror neurons read that, and that helps for you to be calm as well. And so that gives you the kind of the neuroscience, and that's what, and and a whole lot of health professionals and caregivers, that's what's called empathetic distress, because you feel the stuff of the people that you're caregiving for. But it's about realizing that what you're feeling is not just your own feelings, it's the feelings from other people as well. But the only thing that you can do, as much as you'd like to take away other people's distress and fix it and make it better, the best thing for you to do in the moment is for you to regulate and calm your own nervous system. And so that's where self-care comes in. And that's where mindfulness self-care practices come in, because if you calm and regulate your own nervous system, then that calms and regulates other people's nervous system, and then you spread that seed through your brain cells, basically. And so a lot of people don't do self-care because they think it's selfish and it's indulgent and all of those things. But actually, to check in with yourself regularly on a daily basis, ask yourself how you're feeling. Know that if you're in a stressed work environment, or someone that you're caregiving is stressed, it's not just your stress, but all you can do is to regulate your own emotions with your skills that you've learned in yoga, or these micro mindfulness skills that I have also developed through mindfulness-based therapy. So it's really fascinating, and that's why people get traumatized if people are working, with people with survivors of trauma, or you guys have had national stuff happen with you too, like tsunamis and earthquakes and things like that. That's where people get that secondary traumatization, that they haven't necessarily been through what's happened, but they feel traumatized because they're listening to the stories of people that have been through that, and they haven't realized that, and then they've traumatized people in healthcare feel like too. They get that what's called vicarious traumatization. So yeah, I feel like it's a really important message to get out there, that self-care is not selfish. Actually, self-care is essential, and we need to do this to prevent mental health. The World Health Organization says that there's going to be a pandemic of burnout and COVID fatigue and stress and anxiety because of what we've been going through. So really essential at this time that we take responsibility for our own mental health and well-being.
So
yeah,
what happens when the people you're caring for, or the people in the generation that you're caring for, feel that self-care is self-indulgent and selfish, and what can you tell those people, without getting too upset? Let's say I'm caring for somebody, let's say father or mother, and they go like, oh, that's rubbish. You're supposed to look after me. You're not supposed to be looking after yourself. I need your help more. Okay, let's just say, I'm not saying that they are, okay, in case they're watching.
So you have two types of self-care, really.
Yeah.
You have the self-care that takes you away, like a massage or going away to do a yoga class.
Yeah.
And then there's skills that you learn from that yoga class. So those micro self-care practices that you can practice in the moment while you're talking, like, while you're caregiving for that person. So they don't know what you're doing. So, for example, I teach the Mindful Self-Compassion course, and one of the practices is breathing in compassion for yourself and out for the person that you're caregiving for. In for yourself, out for them. Sometimes you have 10 breaths in for yourself and 1 for them. And there's just a lot of different things that you can do to regulate your own nervous system that nobody sees you doing. No one sees you doing. So you're doing it on the go in your busy lives. It doesn't take you away. That stuff, that self-care that takes you away off the job, is just as important. But it's really important to be able to do it in the moment while you're challenged with the person that says, I want you to look after me. Okay. Your role as a son is to look after me. It's like, well,
see, my parents are watching now.
No one needs to know that you're caring for yourself. Yeah. It's just like the breath. Just the nourishment of the breath. They don't need to know that you're doing that. You're just using these self-care practices in the moment and acknowledging to yourself that you are important and not giving out all the time. Give out, and then you're depleted. And I guess what you tell people, like I've had this conversation with my mother, who said that mindful self-compassion is a pity party. that it's not. Why I think the other generations, it's a different thing to get their head around, the self-compassion and the self-care concept, and you just kept on going. But I think when you explain the science behind it, the hard facts, that actually if you don't care for yourself, you contribute to other people's stress. So it's not selfish. So yeah.
So those watching us, just can you let us know, if you're watching us, whether this resonates with you or whether this helps you, okay? Because we know that when you're in your 40s, okay, it doesn't really matter about age. Actually, you can be a caregiver at any time. You are even caregiving to your own children. So sometimes, okay, don't throw rocks at me. Sometimes children are so demanding, and you really or whoever. But Robyn, actually, I want so for those of you watching, if you could leave a comment, tell us how you're feeling about this whole discussion we're having now. That'd be grateful. That'd be useful to us. And in the meantime, I wanted to ask you, Robyn. So let's talk about this in the work setting. You were talking about the mirror neurons just now. So there is this opportunity for us, okay, in the work setting, to help to calm down the whole entire environment, right?
Yeah,
there is also the opportunity. So basically at work, if everyone is stressed, then everyone will be mirroring that stress in the mirror neuron, and it'll be amplified beyond beyond even what you think. So, but if you're working from home and say, I'm working from home and stressed, then that stress will be mirrored to my children, to the people I'm caring for, to my pets maybe, and spouse or whoever, right? But so there is this opportunity to either help people get more stressed or help people get more calm. What is it in us that makes that difference? Whether we actually in a situation get more stressed or get more calm. We have to actually voluntarily, consciously start calming ourselves. Am I right?
I think it's about being mindful of your stress. So it's about mindfulness first. So you're mindful of your emotions,
So
where you're feeling it in your body, checking in, and asking yourself, what do I need? What do I need to calm myself? Yeah.
So I would like to point out now to those watching, whether live or on replay, that Robyn, who is the mind, oh my
Fitness
God.
doctor.
Yes, the MindFitness Doctor. I'm looking right at the MindFitness Doctor, either on Instagram or on Facebook. And on Facebook, she has a group, and you can learn all these micro
micro self-care practices. So it's micro mind fitness practices. So
Yes,
stuff that you can do to rewire your brain and to care for yourself and do that calming. Yeah. In the moment, on the go, in your daily life. In the moment, on the go, in your daily life. Yeah.
Yes. And the more you do it, the easier it comes to you. Am I right?
So these studies that have been done on this that show that if you do it, so it's just as effective as like a meditation practice, a daily meditation practice for 30-40 minutes. If you kind of, I mean, this is a funny term, but if you microdose through the day all the time, so almost like putting a cell phone reminder on to check in with yourself and maybe even take 3 deep breaths, or feel the soles of your feet on the ground. It takes you away from your head down to the ground. All that grounding stuff that you know about, Danielle, as well. Bringing yourself into the present moment, checking in with your emotions, not reacting to things. Yeah.
So my students watching this, when I talk about feet, you know what I'm talking about, okay? And why? I mean, I've explained why I talked about feet before, but it's important to ground and it's important to center. So when we use the breath, we're centering. And I have to admit right now that I rarely do a 20-minute, 1 hour meditation practice. It's usually like 7 minutes in the morning, 7 minutes after lunch, 7 minutes nighttime, and that's 21 minutes,
Yeah.
Unless I'm feeling like, oh, okay, and I wake up in the morning and go like, okay, I'm going to sit down for half an hour or whatever. But usually I do it in short, manageable tranches like that. And I don't feel like I'm getting bored. Okay. And coming from a yoga teacher, I think this will help to encourage you to try it, because the more often you actually say, let's say you're just doing a meditation, more often you sit down for 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 15 minutes, the faster you'll get into a meditative state as your journey moves on. So when you first start with meditation, or whether this mindfulness, micro mindfulness practices, initially you may find it challenging. You go like, oh, nothing's going on. But the more you practice it, the more it'll come to you and the more you'll understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, there's a saying that neurons that fire together wire together. So it's about neuroplasticity, changing the shape and function of your brain. Yeah. So and that's where the mind fitness comes in. You have to do that to rewire your brain. Yeah.
Yes, and I'd like to remind those who just joined us that Robyn is a doctor, Dr. Robyn Charlton. And so she knows what she's talking about. She's telling you that basically the neurons in our brain, if one starts firing in a certain way, the ones around it will kind of join in. So if we choose to calm down rather than react to stress or react to anger, then the neurons around that will also start doing the same, and then it'll be like the whole brain eventually will get that way.
It's a new pathway,
right, a new pathway. So I just and Robyn earlier mentioned that not enough of us practice this.
Mind fitness.
Yeah. Self-care. So self-care doesn't, it can mean taking a nice, long, luxurious bath, but it doesn't have to be that. on Robyn, who is the Mind Fitness Doctor, Instagram as well as Facebook. She has the micro self-care practices that you can take a look at. And she's inspired me to do the same. Okay, but of course, we have to practice. The work comes from us. So when we're in the moment, it's up to us whether we have to start the journey, because the journey has to start at some point. So
just small steps. Steps.
And Malaysians watching this, it's a public holiday, so you can pull out your phone, take a look at the videos that Robyn has for you, whether on Facebook, whether on Instagram. So
the best place to go is my website now, actually, Dan.
Right.
So mindfitnessdoctor.co.nz, and there's a free September self-care challenge which I'm running that you can learn these micro self-care practices in, and you can also have some access to free mind fitness yin yoga classes where I teach these micro mindfulness practices during the yin yoga classes. So you can do it off the mat, you can do it on the mat, and then take it off the mat to do in your daily life. That's the
So if you could leave a comment in both Instagram as well as Facebook for your link, your website link, that I think that would be useful for people, for those watching, whether live or on replay later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I can do that in my midlife.
Yeah. No, do it now, because people want to know. I want to know. So yeah, leave your link. And if you don't leave your link by tomorrow, I will message you. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not urgent. It's not urgent. You guys can just explore both our pages for things that may be useful to you. If viewers now find that you have a question, you have a query, please leave a comment, or you can leave a comment in the replay as well for something you're hoping that can help you in your daily struggles, daily challenges, whether you are a midlifer, whether you are a caregiver, or whether you're both, okay? We would love to help you. So you can just leave a comment, or you can direct message or private message Robyn or myself. We're happy to hear from you, okay? So you guys are on social media now. You know how to contact us through there, and Robyn later on will leave a link for us to check out a wonderful website
that Daniel's helping me with, because he's a good copywriter.
Yeah, because okay. When I'm mindful, the copy comes out well. See how useful mindfulness is. All right. So, Robyn, do you have anything else that you'd like to add before we call it a day? And viewers, if you have anything to ask, please ask now. Or again, you can leave a comment, and Robyn or I can get back to you later.
No, just to say thank you for everyone that has watched this, and just to maybe check in with yourself and really ask yourself what you can do to improve your self-care, and know that it's benefiting everybody else around you, and is not selfish and not indulgent, and actually really essential for the whole world, really. If we could start to do this, we'll heal the world.
I agree. But I think it's also, I would like to tell viewers in Malaysia that this is quite important, because as we open up, regulations are relaxing. There's going to be quite a lot of stress. I'm looking at the crowds, the photos in the news reports, and the crowds are incredible. Traffic is incredible. It's the first long weekend, kind of. If you take tomorrow off, it's a long weekend. And I know many of you are going on intrastate vacations, so there will be a little bit of stress with that. So check out Robyn's micro video. some of the 30 seconds, right? So in 30 seconds, my goodness, you can't finish an ice cream in 30 seconds. So watch them. And in the meantime, I will be back next week at this time, God willing. And we'll be discussing how movement and meditation helps with self-care for midlifers. And actually, it's crucial because at the end of the day, we'll be moving on in time beyond midlife. So
I'm aware of that.
so we need to get moving. We need to get this body and this mind ready for the actually what could be our greatest chapter in our life. So yeah. So thanks everyone for coming, and I really want to thank Robyn so much. Robyn, it's been so much fun, and I really want to thank Robyn because I met Robyn earlier this year, and she's been so helpful and useful and taught me so many things.
Likewise, Dan.
And brought a link back from my past to the present. So when I think of Robyn, I think of Auckland, and there's so many good memories I have of Auckland.
We're gonna come here soon. We're gonna meet one day in person, Dan.
Yes. Hopefully in Auckland, yeah, because I want to go back.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, Robyn. Thank you so much. Thank you. Everyone. And let's see if I know how to switch everything off again. Okay. And is that a way to save this, Robyn?
It does save, yeah.
Okay, so I'll end the broadcast. I know I'm broadcasting. Right. Bye, everyone. Take care.